Welcome back. This is DJ's Chronicles on part 2 by the Waters of Babylon. It's a pretty interesting story so far, and I really like where it went with part 2. I'll have to read it to you so you understand what I'm talking about. Here we go. It felt like ground underfoot. It did not burn me. It is not true what some of the tales say, that the ground there burns forever. For I have been there. Here and there were the marks and stains of the great burning. On the ruins, that is true, but they were old marks and old stains. It is not true either, what some of the priests say, that it is an island covered with fogs and enchantments. It is not. It is a great dead place, greater than any dead place we know. Everywhere in it there are god roads, though most are cracked and broken. Everywhere there are the ruins of the high towers of the gods. How shall I tell you what I saw? I went carefully with my strung bow in my hand, my skin ready for danger. There should have been the wailings of spirits and the shrieks of demons, but there were not. It was very silent and sunny there, where I landed. The wind and the rain and the birds that dropped seeds had done their work. The grass grew in the cracks of the broken stone. It is a fair island. No wonder the gods built there. If I had come there, a god, I also would have built. How shall I tell what I saw? The towers are not all broken. Here and there one still stands, like a great tree in a forest. I'll just leave that. And the bird's nest high. But the towers themselves look blind, for the gods are gone. I saw a fish hawk catching fish in the river. I saw a little dance of white butterflies over a great heap of broken stones and columns. I went there and looked about me. There was a carved stone with cut letters, broken in half. I can read the letters, but I could not understand these. They said, Up tres. There was also the shattered image of a man or a god. It had been made of white stone, and he wore his hair tied back like a woman's. His name was Ashing. As I read on the cracked half of a stone, I thought it was wise to pray to Ashing, though I do not know that god. How shall I tell what I saw? There was no smell of man left, on stone or metal, nor were there many trees in a wilderness of stone. There are many pigeons, nesting and dropping in their towers. The gods must have loved them, or perhaps they used them for sacrifices. There are wild cats that roam the god roads, green-eyed, unafraid of man. At night, they wail like demons, but they are not demons. The wild dogs are more dangerous, for they hunt in a pack. But them I did not meet until later. Everywhere there are the carved stones, carved with magical numbers or words. I went north. I did not try to hide myself. When a god or a demon saw me, then I would die. But meanwhile, I was no longer afraid. My hunger for knowledge burned in me. There was so much that I could not understand. After a while, I knew that my belly was hungry. I could have hunted for my meat, but I did not hunt. It is known that the gods did not hunt as we do. They got their food from enchanted boxes and jars. Sometimes these are still found in the dead places. Once, when I was a child and foolish still, I opened such a jar and tasted it, and found that the food was sweet. But my father found out and punished me for it strictly, for often that food is death. Now, though I had long gone past what was forbidden, and I entered the likeliest towers, looking for the food of the gods, I found it at last in the ruins of a great temple in the mid-city. A mighty temple it must have been, for the roof was painted like the sky at night with its stars. That much I could see, though the colors were faint and dim. It went down into great caves and tunnels. Perhaps they kept their servants there. But when I started to climb down, I heard the squeaking of rats, so I did not go. Rats are unclean, and there must have been many tribes of them, for the squeaking. But near there I found food, in the heart of a ruin, behind a door that was still open. I ate only the fruits from these jars. They had a very sweet taste. There was drink, too, in bottles of glass. The drink of the gods was strong and made my head swim. After I had eaten and drunk, I slept on the top of a stone, my bow at my side. When I awoke, the sun was low. Looking down from where I lay, I saw a dog sitting on his haunches. His tongue was hanging out of his mouth. He looked as if he were laughing. He was a big dog, with a gray-brown coat, as big as a wolf. I sprang up and shouted at him, but he did not move. He just sat there, as if he were laughing. I did not like that. When I reached for a stone to throw, he moved swiftly out of the way of the stone. He was not afraid of me. He looked at me as if I were meat. No doubt I could have killed him with my arrow, but I did not know if there were others. Moreover, night was falling. I looked about me. Not far away there was a great broken god road leading north. The towers were high enough, but not so high, and while many of the dead houses were wrecked, there were some that stood. I went toward this god road, keeping to the heights of the ruins, while the dog followed. When I had reached the god road, I saw that there were others behind him. If I had slept later, they would have come upon me in my sleep and torn out my throat. As it was, they were sure enough of me. They did not hurry. When I went into the dead house, they kept watch at the entrance. Doubtless, they thought they would have a fine hunt. But a dog cannot open a door, and I knew from the books that the gods did not like to live on the ground, but on high. I had just found a door I could open when the dogs decided to rush. Ha! They were surprised when I shut the door in their faces. It was a good door, of strong metal. I could hear their foolish baying beyond it, but I did not stop to answer them. I was in darkness. I found stairs and climbed. There were many stairs, turning around till my head was dizzy. At the top was another door. I found the knob and opened it. I was in a long, small chamber. On one side of it was a bronze door that could not be opened, for there was no handle. Perhaps there was a magic word to open it, but I did not have that word. I turned to the door on the opposite side of the wall. The lock of it was broken, and I opened it and went in. Within, there was a place of great riches. The god who lived there must have been a powerful god. The first room was a small ante-room. I waited there for some time, telling the spirits of the place that I came in peace and not as a robber. When it seemed to me that they had had time to hear me, I went on. Ah, what riches! Few even of the windows had been broken. It was all as it had been. The great windows that looked over the city had not been broken at all, though they were dusty and streaked with many years. There were coverings on the floors, the colors not greatly faded, and the chairs were soft and deep. There were pictures upon the walls, very strange, very wonderful. I remember one of a bunch of flowers in a jar. If you came close to it, you could see nothing but bits of color. But if you stood away from it, the flowers might have been picked yesterday. It made my heart feel strange to look at this picture, and to look at the figure of a bird in some hard clay on a table, and see it so like our birds. Everywhere there were books and writings, many in tongues that I could not understand. The God who lived there must have been a wise God and full of knowledge. I felt I had a right there, as I sought knowledge also. Nevertheless, it was strange. There was a washing place, but no water. Perhaps the gods washed in air? There was a cooking place, but no wood. And though there was a machine to cook food, there was no place to put fire in it. Nor were there candles or lamps. There were things that looked like lamps, but they had neither oil nor wicks. All of these things were magic. But I touched them and lived. The magic had gone out of them. Let me tell one thing to show. In the washing place, a thing said hot, but it was not hot to the touch. Another thing said cold, but it was not cold. This must have been a strong magic, but the magic was now gone. I do not understand. They had ways I wish that I knew. It was close and dry and dusty in the house of the gods. I have said that the magic was gone, but that is not entirely true. It had gone from the magic things, but it had not gone from the place. I felt the spirits about me, weighing upon me. Nor had I ever slept in a dead place before, and yet tonight I must sleep there. When I thought of it, my tongue felt dry in my throat. In spite of my wish for knowledge, almost I would have gone down again and faced the dogs, but I did not. I had not gone through all the rooms when the darkness fell. When it did fall, I went back to the big room, looking over the city, and made a fire. There was a place to make a fire, and a box with wood in it, though I do not think they cooked there. I wrapped myself in a floor covering, and slept in front of the fire. I was very tired. Now, I tell what is very strong magic. I woke in the midst of the night. When I woke, the fire had gone out, and I was cold. It seemed to me that all around me there were whisperings and voices. I closed my eyes and tried to shut them out. Some will say that I slept again, but I do not think that I slept. I could feel the spirits drawing my spirit out of my body as a fish is drawn on a line. Why should I lie about it? I am a priest and the son of a priest. If there are spirits, as they say, in the small dead places near us, what spirits must there not be in that great place of the gods? And would not they wish to speak? After such long years, I know that I felt myself drawn as a fish is drawn on a line. I had stepped out of my body. I could see my body asleep in front of the cold fire. But it was not I. I was drawn to look out upon the city of the gods. It should have been dark, for it was night, but it was not dark. Everywhere there were lights, lines of lights, circles and blurs of light. 10,000 torches would not have been the same. The sky itself was alight. You could barely see the stars for the glow in the sky. I thought to myself, this is strong magic, and trembled. There was a roaring in my ears, like the rushing of rivers. Then my eyes got used to the light, and my ears to the sound. I knew that I was seeing the city as it had been when the gods were alive. That was a sight indeed. Yes, that was a sight. I could not have seen it in the body. My body would have died. Everywhere went the gods, on foot and in chariots. There were gods beyond number and counting, and their chariots blocked the streets. They had turned night to day for their pleasure. They did not sleep with the sun. The noise of their coming and going was the noise of the many waters. It was magic what they could do. It was magic what they did. I looked out of another window. The great vines of their bridges were mended, and the god roads went east and west. Restless, restless they were, the gods, and always in motion. They burrowed tunnels under rivers. They flew in the air. With unbelievable tools, they did great works. No part of the earth was safe from them, for if they wished for a thing, they summoned it from the other side of the world. And always, as they labored and rested, as they feasted and made love, there was a drum in their ears, the pulse of the giant city, beating and beating like a man's heart. Were they happy? What is happiness to the gods? They were great, they were mighty, they were wonderful and terrible. As I looked upon them and their magic, I felt like a child. But a little more, it seemed to me, and they would pull down the moon from the sky. I saw them with wisdom beyond wisdom, and knowledge beyond knowledge. And yet not all they did was well done. Even I could see that. And yet their wisdom could not but grow until all was peace. Then I saw their fate come upon them, and that was terrible past speech. It came upon them as they walked the streets of their city. I have been in the fights with the forest people. I have seen men die. But this was not like that. When gods war with gods, they use weapons we do not know. It was fire falling out of the sky and a mist that poisoned. It was the time of the great burning and the destruction. They ran about like ants in the streets of their city. Poor gods, poor gods! Then the towers began to fall. A few escaped. Yes, a few. The legends tell it. But even after the city had become a dead place, for many years the poison was still in the ground. I saw it happen. I saw the last of them die. It was darkness over the broken city, and I wept. All this I saw. I saw it as I have told it, though not in the body. When I woke in the morning, I was hungry, but I did not think first of my hunger, for my heart was perplexed and confused. I knew the reason for the dead places, but I did not see why it had happened. It seemed to me it should not have happened. With all the magic that they had, I went through the house looking for an answer. There was so much in the house I could not understand. And yet I am a priest, and the son of a priest. It was like being on one side of the great river at night, with no light to show the way. Then I saw the dead god. He was sitting in his chair by the window, in a room I had not entered before, and for the first moment I thought that he was still alive. Then I saw the skin on the back of his hand. It was like dry leather. The room was shut, hot and dry. No doubt that they had kept him as he was. At first, I was afraid to approach him. Then the fear left me. He was sitting, looking out over the city. He was dressed in the clothes of the gods. His age was neither young nor old. I could not tell his age. But there was wisdom in his face and great sadness. You could see that he would have not run away. He had sat at his window watching his city die. Then he himself had died. But it is better to lose one's life than one's spirit, and you could see from the face that his spirit had not been lost. I knew that if I touched him, he would fall into dust, and yet there was something unconquered in that face. That is all of my story, for then I knew he was a man. I knew then that they had been men. Neither gods nor demons. It is a great knowledge, hard to tell and to believe. They were men. They went a dark road, but they were men. I had no fear after that. I had no fear going home. Though twice I fought off the dogs, and once I was hunted for 2 days by the forest people. When I saw my father again, I prayed and was purified. He touched my lips and my chest. He said, "You went away a boy. You came back a man and a priest." I said, "Father, they were men. I have been in the place of the gods and saw it. Now slay me if it is the law, but still I know they were men." He looked at me out of both eyes. He said, "The law is not always the same shape. You have done what you have done. I could not have done it my time, but you come after me. Tell." I told, and he listened. After that, I wished to tell all the people, but he showed me otherwise. He said, "Truth is a hard deer to hunt. If you eat too much truth at once, you may die of truth." It was not idly that our fathers forbade the dead places. He was right. It is better. The truth should come little by little. I have learned that being a priest, perhaps in the old days they ate knowledge too fast. Nevertheless, we make a beginning. It is not for the metal alone we go to the dead places now. There are the books and the writings. They are hard to learn, and the magic tools are broken. But we can look at them and wonder. At least we make a beginning. And when I am chief priest, we shall go beyond the great river. We shall go to the place of the gods, the place New York. Not one man, but a company. We shall look for the images of the gods and find the god Ashing and the others, the gods Lincoln and Baltimore and Moses. But they were men who built the city, not gods or demons. They were men. I remember the dead man's face. They were men who were here before us. We must build again. All right, that's the end of it. It was first published in 1937 by Stephen Vincent Bennett. If you feel like it, please like and subscribe to DJ's Chronicles, and I hope to see you the next time. Bye.